starting here, I have a special guest. His name is Christian Staples. I'm going to introduce you in just a minute. But first I have to tell you, so I turned on the camera and then I'm trying to make sure that, I look okay. Okay, I'm a little bit vain. I have my vanity thing. And he goes, yeah, I didn't put my makeup on. So anyways,
Sorry,
Christian.
This is all natural.
Christian is going to be fun. So Christian is one of my brand new leaders in China. And we are going to teach you guys today about how to build internationally. So first of all, let me give you an outline of what we're going to cover. First of all, I'm going to talk about building internationally in general. We're going to talk about making sure you work with corporate. We're going to talk about second, expectations. Make sure you set the expectations properly for the team. Number 3, we're going to talk about when does doTERRA step in if you're helping open a new country. Now, if the country's already officially open, obviously that will be different. Number 4, travel. How often do you need to be there? We're going to talk about 5, shipping. Shipping can be a big issue if it isn't established yet. Number 6, language support. Where do you look for that? How do you get it? Number 7, what do you need to buy to start your business? How much does it cost to get it started if you're building internationally? Number 8, global access accounts. Okay, we're going to talk about that. And Christian will help me with that, but he's specifically here too to help me with the China part, because he has been on the ground working with the Chinese people, fluent in Chinese. So let me introduce you to Christian. So honestly, it's been a blessing to have Christian as one of my new leaders. He worked on Wall Street recently, very recently, high-end companies. So name their top 3 companies.
Yeah, so there's 3 really good companies. So Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. And I was recruited by Blackstone's M&A team. And then we were spun out and we joined with several partners from Morgan Stanley.
Okay, now wait, I get to brag about you, okay? Because he won't brag about himself, so I better tell you, okay? So this is the deal. He worked with the partners of Morgan Stanley on billion-dollar projects. He's an investment banker, and they were working on massive projects. And as he was trying to decide what he wants to do with his career, he was being headhunted, and he can pretty much go with anyone he wants. But he decided to stop doing that, and he's doing doTERRA full-time with me now, building in China. So, very, very lucky to have him. I know, he looks way too young to be that successful. I get it, I know, I don't even know. So,
no, it's exciting. It's cool. It's exciting to be out here.
So why did you decide? Oh, and by the way, let me just say this real quick. Really cool. So he's an investment banker, and guess what he did? He totally checked out doTERRA like that, like they do, that big old fancy stuff they do.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to make sure it was a good investment, and it's great. It's cool. It's exciting to work here, especially in China, where it's just getting new and getting exciting. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And he's already got some really exciting things happening. Some heavy hitter leaders that are in kind of high positions here, and some that aren't, who are just going crazy. And some of the, you know how it is, the ones you expect to go crazy, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. And then ones you don't expect, they go crazy. So, first of all, let's talk about working with doTERRA. When you are going to build internationally, make sure that you work with doTERRA. Work with corporate every single step of the way. Have people on the inside at corporate who you're asking questions, getting a relationship with. Because, for example, Brazil is a new company, or a new country that people are wanting to open. Well, if you don't set things up properly there, you could burn some bridges for doTERRA and make it a lot harder for them to open. In places like China or Russia, those are places where you could cause a problem big enough that they might not even let doTERRA come in at all. It's a big deal, so please make sure you work with doTERRA. Second, set the expectations for the team properly. What happens is, I've seen so many people come into a new country, and whether the country is established or not with doTERRA on the ground, they'll come in and they'll talk about how exciting it's going to be, but then when things are difficult, because you're paving the road, everything's not in place, you don't have all the tools, you don't have everything in your language, all the products aren't registered or whatever, then people get frustrated and you start having fallout. So what are the things that you've noticed with that, with your team? I mean, it's brand new, but why do you think that's important? Yeah, setting expectations has been really important, just because being in a new country, things are slower, there are a lot of different things that we have to learn, a lot of, just because it's different from how it's been done in the past. And so we're learning as we go, and so setting expectations helps everybody be a little bit more patient with the process, and helps us work together more efficiently too.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Let's say that doTERRA says, okay, we're going to try to have these products registered, and we think that these products will be registered by convention in, you know, the local convention in their country. If that is in June, I don't go to my team and say, you guys, it looks like this stuff might be ready in June. I go to my team and I say, you guys, it looks like they're trying to have this stuff ready by the end of the year. So that will be awesome. So be watching for that. Then guess what happens? If we run into problems and it's 3 months late or 6 months late, sometimes the country can pull a customs issue or whatever. Then guess what happens? Instead of being frustrated because they're thinking they said it was going to be June, then what happens is that when it's done 3 months late, my team is thinking, oh, this is awesome. What a pleasant surprise that it was done early. So you manage that. doTERRA will tell you things as a leader that are helpful for you to know so that you can plan, but that's not that you need to get good at deciding what items of information you tell the whole story to your team and which items of information you go and tell them just, you know, parts of it so that they can be excited with you, but you're protecting the company as well. Okay. When does doTERRA step in? Number 3. doTERRA will step in when the volume in the country gets big enough that they can't ignore it. That's the bottom line. And so I've seen people who go into a new country that hasn't been opened yet. Right now we're looking at Russia. Right now we're looking at Brazil. And then you might get a team going. You've got 20,000 a month. You've got 50,000 a month. And you're going, why isn't doTERRA doing more for me? But the reality is, guess what? This is your business. doTERRA was not prepared to go into that country yet. They didn't promise anything. So this is my attitude. My attitude is, let's get enough volume that doTERRA can't ignore it. Okay? And they're not going to ignore it. Obviously, they are there. They bend over backwards trying to help you, even when it's not official, even when you're just doing it on your own. They'll help you, but don't expect them to do anything. When they do, we're lucky we work with a company and owners who are willing to help us and really want what's best for us. So keep that in mind. Number 4, travel. How often do you need to travel to be there? I'm actually going to let you talk about, you've been here for 6 weeks in China, and you're just starting your team here, or well, you're almost here 6 weeks.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? What are you thinking about how often you probably need to come to make sure that they don't atrophy?
I think what's nice is you can use technology, but at the same time, it's really important to be there in person because you can help with the classes, you can help them with contacting, you can help meet their people, you can help them feel like it's legitimate because it is, and so being here in person, I've been here for a few weeks now. I think coming out every month at least is probably a good idea.
He doesn't know what my answer would have been, and that's exactly what I teach people. You've got to come every month. You have to come at least every 4 weeks. You need to be here at least a week. I would recommend 2 weeks every time you come. So you're actually in the new country half the time, and at home half the time, which is really hard. So that travel is expensive. So realize what you're getting into. Don't be thinking, well, no, I know she says that, but I can do the classes there, and then for the next 2 months I can do classes online, and then I'll go back again. You do that, and I can promise you it'll cost you a lot more money, and you'll end up dealing with so many more problems, and you may end up feeling like you get to the point where you might feel like it's not worth it. So I'm going to have you hear an example from Christian. He doesn't even know what I'm going to ask. But, okay, so we went to 4 cities in China a few weeks ago. And then you stayed and went to those, you were available to go back to those cities.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about what happened, not using any names, but with some of the leaders on your team. We had the classes, they got excited, and then what did you see with follow-up? And what, if it made a difference if you went back again that second week?
Yeah, for sure. So we did the first classes. Most of the people who came were really excited and wanted to start trying the oils. And the tough thing though was with follow-up. I thought it was just naturally. I reminded the leaders that we needed to follow up, and it didn't happen naturally. And so being able to go out a second time, meet more people, meet the same people that I had met the first time, was really valuable.
Yeah. Wait, what are you saying? You're saying follow-up doesn't come naturally?
Yeah.
You guys, are any of us awesome at follow-up? That's a constant effort.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I'm following up more too now. So.
Yeah. And one of the things I noticed was that people were excited, but then there were some people started to get a little worried. They started to hear things from their friends or neighbors or whatever, and then the people who were excited started to get a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
So you ended up being on the phone with them, helping with those things, and some of them we did 3-way calls. But how did that change things when you went the second week? Because you were still here.
Yeah, I mean, being here for the second week, it's really valuable because you can see so many people at once, and you have a chance to interact with them, answer their questions individually, and work through any issues that may come up. We did have one kind of funny situation where there was a leader who had taught her class. Her friend came, or several people came, but one of her friends came and got really interested in the product, and this leader didn't have time or didn't have a chance to follow up with her really soon after the class, and so that friend went and bought product from someone else that she had heard had the product and sold it, and so the leader was kind of surprised to see that.
Yeah, have any of you heard of that happening ever? If you've been building very long, you've had that happen on your team.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, it's important that you've got to be there with them, because otherwise they don't feel supported. Then they start wanting to get with a different team, and so that's really important. Okay, shipping. That's number 5. I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on shipping. Now, China, we've already got the shipping in place, so we don't have to worry about that here. But this is a huge thing that can cause you a lot of headaches if you don't do it in a way that is really helpful for you. And guess how I know this? Well, I've made probably every dumb mistake you can imagine. And so I figured out some really awesome ways to do it. So when I get passionate and I sound bossy, this is why, because I don't want you to have to deal with what I dealt with. So I will tell you what I think you should do, and I will be bossy about it, but then you do whatever you want. I am not going to judge you. But what you do is there are 2 different things for shipping. Number 1, because you've got to figure it out. doTERRA is not going to do it for you. You've got to get the product shipped to them. You find a way to ship it, and there are 2 different ways. Number 1, you work with the locals. Work with the locals. I mean, you can use social media and ask everybody. Work with people who are shipping to and from that country, and you find out exactly what they do, because they'll know little tricks that you don't know. Now, make sure you do it in a legal way, of course. Second thing you're going to do is I want you to know about a company called DHL. DHL is phenomenal, and the reason I love DHL is because they figure out a way to make sure they are really solid in every country. And if, for example, we work with countries where the customs are corrupt, and so we might have oils come through where one time they charge $50, and another time they see the oils and they charge $500. So if you're not prepared for that, that's a problem. So it might be cheaper to ship the normal way, but you're going to make sure your oils get there if it's through DHL. Now, DHL in some countries is a really good price. In other countries, it's a lot more expensive than any other way to ship. But I am telling you, if you cannot find a safe way to ship, do DHL until you find a better way. You'll probably find a better way that the locals use that's cheaper, or you might find a way to work with DHL, but they are pretty huge. So, but that just gives you an idea. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of some shipping and how you set it up with the team. Because if you are working with the team, and let's say you've got somebody who just starts in Brazil, and they've signed up 3 people, and everybody wants their oils. What I tell them at the beginning is, at first, we're going to wait until we get 20 orders. When we get 20 orders, let's start building the team. And do you think I say, you guys, shipping is so hard, and it's going to be really, really bad. It's going to be so frustrating. No, I sound excited. This is what I do. I tell them what the problems are going to be, but I sound excited. I say, you guys, okay, shipping is going to be an issue, and we are going to be paving the road. So I am looking for leaders who are ready to start this. We are opening the country. You guys are going to be the big leaders in Brazil, but I need to know that you are on board, because this is not going to be easy. But we're going to come across problems, and I can promise you, if you don't set this expectation that there will be problems, you got to make it sound like it's going to be really hard. Because if you don't, you will have complainers, and you will have people who end up quitting the company because it's too hard to start. After I started doing what I'm teaching you right now, I've never had a problem with that. It's unbelievable how loyal the people are. I say, you guys, this is going to be hard. We are going to run into problems with shipping. We're going to run into problems with leaders who don't understand how the business works, people telling us it doesn't work that way in this country. We are going to run into these problems, and what I need is this team right here. I need you leaders to be the people who help me figure out the problems. We are going to get over these humps, but that's why you will get to be the big leaders in this country. So do you see, by the time I'm done, they're going, oh, yes, yes, it's going to be hard, okay? Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little, but really and truly, it's kind of a big deal. So same goes for shipping. I say, you guys, okay, shipping is going to be hard at first. And I say, what we do at first is we get 20 orders. Once we have 20 orders, then we ship. So people are getting enrolled, and it might be a month or 2 months, depending on how fast they go, before we even put the order in to have it shipped. Actually, that's not true. Let me take that back. We put the order in, but then we don't take the orders and ship them until we have all 20 orders. So somebody orders on Tuesday, and they know that, yeah, the order's actually not going in until we have 20 orders. So then people are excited. Okay, how many do we have? Okay, we have 18. Okay, does anybody else have somebody who's excited about the oils? Maybe we can get another enrollment, then we can do the order. See what I'm saying? Now, I'll make an exception to the rule. Sometimes, let's say I've got a few leaders or a leader who's really excited to get going. I'll explain this shipping issue, and then I will say, what I'll do is I'll ship you your product. I'm gonna pay for your product, I will ship it to you this first time, but after that, we wait for 20 people, okay? Then, and we basically keep getting better and better and better. So at first, we ship it every month, and that's just the expectation. You never ship it sooner. Don't ever take someone's order a day late, because if you do, everyone will start giving in their orders late. Oh, wait, hurry, have you made this shipment yet? Oh, so sorry, yours will come on the 15th of next month. Then the people will learn. You have to have it in by this date. Then, as the team gets big enough, then we go down to every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks. Actually, what I like to do is I go every month. When we have enough orders, I'll do it every 2 weeks, and then I never do it more often than once a week. We get down to 1 week. And the reason that we set it up like this is because an order to ship to China when we started might have been $100 or $200. But if you have 20 people, that shipment's going to be about the same price, and now everybody's paying $10 for shipping. You see what I'm saying? You're splitting up the shipping. Now, the other thing I want you to know is with shipping, one of the issues you'll run into is the cost of shipping, of course, but per individual. So when we were working with Malaysia, and the price changes every single time you ship. So what we have learned is that if the cost of shipping the product is going to be $6 sometimes, $8 sometimes, $12 sometimes, whatever the highest cost will ever be, you always charge them that money, and you always make them pay it when they make their order. Do not let them pay for shipping when they pick up their order. I promise you, if you do, you're setting yourself up for frustration, because people have already paid for their oil, then they forget that they now have to pay for shipping, or maybe the leader forgot to tell them. They come pick up their order, you can imagine the frustration. And what happens is, then they're all mad. But if they pay $12 right now, and then it only ends up costing $8, then when they pick up their order, they get $4 back. And you're saying shipping was less this time. Then they're going, oh, wow, that's awesome. Or if they don't get any money back, then it's totally fine. You've got to make sure you've got a leader you can trust, because one time, this happened to me one time, and it will never happen again. We had a leader, I won't even say what country it was, but they gathered all the orders and took all the money, and then they disappeared. So guess who needed to make sure that everybody got their oils? That would be me. So, and there were a lot of people that signed up quickly. And now I had to do damage control, because I had to work with these leaders and help them feel like they could trust doTERRA. So that was a big issue. Okay, language support. How do you make sure that you get help with the language? Obviously, ta-da!
Yeah.
I have Christian. Okay, I'm just going to put you on the spot. Okay, tell them a little bit about China in Chinese, just for fun.
In Chinese?
Yes.
Oh.
You know everybody wants to hear it.
Yeah. 希望没有本地人听我讲，这样的话你们就不会批评我的中文。 对，我在中国的话呢，其实我的中文还好，但是我觉得在这边需要找一些找一些比较了解文化的一些本地人，我觉得这个还是最重要的。比如说 Teresa 她说，我们在这边呢，我们想要找最优秀的一些中国代理，因为这样的话，他们就能帮我们继续支持我们的消费者。对。
Okay, 谢谢。So I probably understood about 10% of that, which is actually good. I'm excited. Really I'm getting there.
Yeah, but that's really good.
And this is the thing. I understand. I know that, and then blah blah blah. I think blah blah blah. I understand.
Yeah, no, that's good.
She said
right.
blah blah blah. So I understand about 10%, but I have no idea what he's talking about. So okay. So with the language, what you do is you work closely with corporate. They'll always have people at the office who speak that language, and I can tell you, become friends with them. It is so important to become friends and create connections with the people in the office. If there's an office on the ground, then obviously get to know them. They'll also usually have people in the Utah office that speak that language and they're helping support that country from the United States. You get to know those people. You treat them like kings and queens. They are working their tails off for you, and you act like it. And as you become friends with them, I'm telling you, they bend over backwards to help you. Tell them your experience with
absolutely.
Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I know Michael, he's an account manager of the Chinese area, the Eastern Chinese area, and he's been really helpful with answering questions, with helping with different account issues, with country-specific issues. He's been amazing. And then there's also a new, someone else I just recently met. His name's Kane. He's over the western part of China, and he's also incredible. He's been very helpful, willing to help out with leaders and help new leaders understand how things work out here in China.
Yeah, so. And one of the things that will happen is as he gets to be friends with Kane, then Kane knows what's going on Christian's team, and then Kane will end up reaching out to the people on Christian's team. So Christian isn't doing it all by himself. Well, hopefully you're not doing it all by himself because hopefully your upline is helping you. But okay, so number 7. What do you need to buy to start your business? How much does it cost if you're going to build internationally? Honestly, it should not cost you very much. The travel will cost a lot. So you've got to plan that. It's going to be expensive because of the travel and staying there. But aside from that, if all you need are the basic, you need your essential oils. You need an essential oils book. You have got to have sample bottles and any paperwork that you need. For example, sign-up forms. Those you can print off of the doTERRA website. If they don't have it in that language yet, then you may need to get it translated into that language. And then what you do is you sign them up as a global access account. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But can you think of anything else that you really need to get started?
I think the big thing is also having a few contacts in the country.
For sure.
I mean, that's not something hopefully that's not something you pay for.
Yeah.
But no, that's something that's really important because then you can start setting up classes, starting to get things rolling. But yeah, as long as you have information, you have the book, you have everything you need to teach a class. That's it.
And what have you done when you come across a handout or something that you would like in Chinese? What do you do?
Translate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
doTERRA corporate sometimes will help you. And that's another reason to have relationships with corporate. At the office, you can say, "Hey, does anybody have anything like this?" And they either have it, or they might have a leader who might have it, or they say, "Sorry, we don't have anything like that." But that way, you're not reinventing the wheel. Okay. So global access, number 8. I just want to mention that for just a minute. What the global access account is, they call it a GAC. That is the account that people sign up on if that country is not officially open. So you can't officially sign someone up in Brazil. You sign them up on the GAC account. And then what that account is set up like is it's set up so that it's legal for anyone anywhere in the world, kind of like anyone anywhere in the world can buy something online and have it shipped to them. This allows them to buy it, so it's legal. But then as soon as doTERRA officially opens that market, they will then transfer all those people to Brazil or to China or whatever it is, okay? So those are the general things you need to know about building internationally. Now we're going to focus on China, and I'll tell you the outline of what we're going to cover. Number one, we're going to talk about the difference between direct sales and network marketing, what's legal in China, what isn't. Second, we're going to talk about there are no ranks in China. It is not allowed, it's not legal. Number three types of bonuses in China for the way that they earn money. Number four is the culture. We're going to talk about how the culture works and things that might give you some tips and hints and tricks that will help you to interact better and in a respectful way. Okay? So first of all, direct sales. Direct sales is legal in China. MLM, network marketing, is not legal in China. Now, I want to stop for a second and just give you guys a guideline that I would recommend that you follow. The longer I've been here, the more I'm realizing this is not something that I believe, should be teaching. Okay, this is the way we do it in the United States, and this is, let me show you the difference between how we do it in China. Now, it's not going to hurt for them to understand both, but what we do in the United States and around the world is illegal in China. So if every time I'm trying to teach someone, I live in China, if I'm trying to teach them and I always have to refer to the US way of building the business, then we've got a problem because I'm not being legal. Plus, what you need to do is you need to pretend like what if there was no global plan like we have in the United States? What if doTERRA started in China and this is the way that we do the comp plan? Well, if that was the only way we had, you wouldn't be able to compare it to anything. You would just explain it at face value. So I would recommend that you learn to do it like that. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm teaching people who are in the US and who are on the global accounts to build in China. So I'm going to show you the comparison. But when you're building in China and working with new people, I would recommend that you do not do that. So, in other words, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
But you get the point, okay? So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think like you said, it's really important to understand that the model here, it's direct sales. It's not network marketing.
Yeah.
We're working with the government. We're gonna do it legally.
And one of the people that Christian stayed with recently is a man who works for the Chinese government, and his job is to watch over the direct sales companies. And he has a little bit of a frustrated attitude toward them because they're constantly, well, I'll let you tell.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of companies who've come in and have done it incorrectly. And that's really the problem, is that other companies have come in, done it incorrectly. They're not selling good product. They're not even selling a product. They're just selling some random business model, and it's a mess.
And they've seen their people get hurt.
It's illegal.
So
yeah. So they're trying to keep it clean, keep the system clean, and we're very fortunate that we can come over with a direct sales model and sell this product because it's great for these people and they love it.
Yeah, and we are very close to getting our direct sales license in China. It's really close. But we do have to wait for certain guidelines and things from the government, so we're not giving a specific deadline of when that will be.
Yeah.
Now, next we want to talk about the bonuses. There are three types of bonuses that you can earn in China. Now, in the end, what you make as a wellness advocate in China is exactly the same as what you would make in the United States or any other country. For all of us around the world, it's a seamless comp plan. So we get paid the same, they get paid the same, but it's figured out differently in China to abide by the rules. So again, remember, now I'm giving you the comparison, but don't do it this way with your team. So would you tell them the names of the three?
Yeah. So there's the main three are, number one, what you guys know is the fast start bonus. Over here is the new customer bonus. And then, so the second one is the customer retention bonus. So this is what you guys know as the power of three back in the States. And it works about the same way. The bonuses are about the same, and they're converted to Chinese, for Chinese people, they're converted to Chinese dollars over here based on the first weeks of the first month, or first week of each month, the exchange rate that they calculate then. So it's about the same that way. Then the last one is the performance bonus, or what you guys know as unilevel. So.
Yes. So you guys need to memorize those names. So let's give them to you again. There's the new customer bonus, there's the customer retention bonus, and the performance bonus. Notice I'm using my cheat sheet. So, because I'm needing to memorize them too. Because as we talk, we tend to say, well, it's the fast start. Well, it's really this. But we need to get totally on it so that when we're talking to people, we just call it that as if that's what it is. Because that is what it is. Okay? Now, there are 3 ways you can enroll in China. One is called a preferred customer. One is called a sales agreement. And one is called the VIP biz or VIP business model, okay? So if you're a preferred customer, well, I'm just gonna give you a few basics right now. There are more details, but we don't need to go into that here, but at least so you sort of understand. And they get points on their account. There are three ways that they get value on their account: points, credits, and cash. But if you're a preferred customer, you only get points and credits. The points come from when you order your LRP. The credits come from when you share the oils with someone and you have a new customer cheat sheet, new customer bonus. When you get the that's your new customer bonus, you get paid in credits on your account. And let's tell them the things that they can use that money for. The credits can be used for
credits, anything within doTERRA. So they work, they function basically the same way as points, except for you get them from a different source. You get them from sharing the product.
Yeah, and I'll add one caveat to that. The points are you're only allowed to use those to redeem for a product. But the credits, you can redeem product. You can use them to buy your convention tickets. You can use them for any fees that you need to pay. You can use that like money, except you don't get paid in cash, okay? The second one is a sales agreement. That one, I won't go into as much detail, but you can get points and credits, and you can get cash for the customer retention bonus. Now, the customer retention bonus is what would be equivalent to?
That is the power of 3.
Yeah. So for that, they can get cash paid on that first section of their power of 3 bonus. And again, called customer retention. Yeah, okay.
So that's for the SA.
Yeah, that's for the SA. Now, they get their points for the LRP, they get credits for some things, and they can get paid cash for what we just described. So the third one is the VIP business account. For the VIP business account, you get points for your loyalty rewards order, but everything else you get paid in cash. So that's nice.
Yeah, and so you'll get in that situation, you'll also get the performance bonus because that's in cash and that's given to you as you help to support your team.
Yeah. So lastly, what we want to talk about is culture of doTERRA. Maybe a few tips and tricks that might help you so that you can be really respectful of the people here. Number one, when you come, be very careful to not make funny faces at the unusual or new things that you see. You might walk past the store windows and they're beautiful stores, and then they've got this dead duck hanging and that's cooked. It's just hanging there with its legs and everything on. And we see that, we're not used to it. And so we go, oh my goodness, well the people right in the window can see you. If you're really here, are you here to help people or not? And if you are, we need to be accepting of their culture and the way they do things. When they're eating chicken feet, when they're doing things, you go to the market, the meat market, the literal meat market, and the meat is all hanging up outside and it's 90 degrees. And so don't wrinkle your nose. Don't look at them like they're doing something wrong. Another thing I've seen people do, for example, you know what, this is a really good example because they like this, what people call squatty potties. They like the toilets that there's no place to sit. You put your feet on either side and you squat down and you go, and it's just a hole in the floor basically. They like those. To us, that can feel a little bit gross. And we can't, a lot of times it's easy to think, I don't see how anybody could like that because I don't want to get too graphic, but you know, if people aren't real accurate, then it can be a little bit messy. And so we think that's yucky, but guess what I found out? The more I get to know the Chinese people, they think it's really gross that we sit on a seat that someone else's bottom has been touching. They feel like that what they do is so much more sanitary. So we need to understand that just because we see something that we're not used to, again, don't wrinkle your nose. Don't let them see you wrinkle your nose. Just start to learn their culture. That's one thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Second thing is face. Can you tell them a little bit about what that is?
Yeah,
some people have never heard of that before.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we have the expression in English. We don't use it very often, but to lose face, to gain face. But basically what it means is everybody has face, and we should always be seeking to help them get more face and make them look good and make them feel good, because especially if you're working with leaders, you want them to look as good as possible, especially if you're choosing good people who already look good. You should always be giving them face and never do anything that would make them look bad in front of people that you guys are working with. And
what you need to understand is, for people in America and many other countries, we all, of course, do this to at different levels. But in America, we are so open about, oh no, I don't have enough money for that. I would love that kit, but I don't think I can afford it. Not everybody feels comfortable saying that, but we are more open about those kinds of things. And if I said something like that to a Chinese person and said, is that too much money for you? Can you, if I said anything like that, that would be so disrespectful and make them feel so stupid in front of other people. If someone heard or whatever, you don't do that. And I was talking with my Chinese teacher who teaches us about culture also, because I had been working with a leader on Christian's team who actually shared with us that money was hard. And so I was asking my teacher, I said, is it okay that I said it like this? Since he shared that with me, then I was talking about it like, this is the way I'll work with people in other countries of the world. I'll say, yeah, when someone isn't able to buy a kit because they don't have enough money, that's totally okay. We do it like this and we do it like this. I say someone, I don't say you. If you don't have enough money, I say if someone doesn't have enough money, this is what we do. Because that helps it feel comfortable for people. But I did that with this gentleman. When I talked to my teacher about it, I'm pointing here because she was sitting there when I was talking to her. But when I talked to my teacher about it, she said, oh, no. You don't say someone. Because if you say someone, then they're thinking, oh, that must be me. You're talking about me, that could be me. And I thought, oh no. And I said, what do I do? She said, if you use yourself as an example, that's okay. If you said, well, when I used to be in a situation where I didn't have money. Or you could say, if that was me, when I've been in situations where I'm worried about money, then I do this. Because if you talk about you, it can't possibly be them because it's you. So do you see how it's very important that we're respectful of these things? Yeah. And my teacher, she speaks fluent English. She works with foreigners all the time. And I said, so Blanca, do you have that as strongly? It doesn't seem like you have that as strongly because, you work with foreigners, you're used to other cultures. Is that such a big deal for you? Because she really seems like those things don't matter so much to her. And she said, oh, yes, very much. Yeah. She said, maybe not as much because I do have this other experience. So it's really important. Yeah. Anything else about face that you can think of?
Just try to give people as much face as possible. I mean, it's good for you, it's good for them, and it's only going to strengthen your relationship. And
we do teach that anyway. When we're teaching people how to build doTERRA in any country, I'm teaching Christian, hey, say some good things about me. Introduce me so that they feel like, I want to listen to her. And then I need to say good things about him so that they can understand. It's the hardest part for me to teach. Hey, talk like I'm awesome,
It's
but
easy.
We need to do that for each other because it helps the audience feel like, oh, there's a reason I should listen. So, for example, when I was on a call with his team leader was doing a great job. And so I was going to bring her in to meet with one of the owners at doTERRA in China. And I told the team, so that's great to tell Barbara that. But to tell her whole team, huge. Yeah. For me to tell the team and say, okay, one of the owners of doTERRA already wants to meet her because she's doing such an amazing job. Yeah. So look for opportunities to do that. It just helps people feel good, and we're just being kind and saying great things about each other. So 2 more things. One is they have the same attitudes we have. in general, they'll say the same things about building, how building is hard or not. What are some of the things that you've heard, good and bad, about building in China?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've shared the way that Teresa's team did it back in the U.S. and how she's done it in different countries and been successful. And people have said, yeah, I don't know. We don't know if that's going to work here, though. And yeah, Teresa said, yeah, I guess you've heard that a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Before,
so guess what? I've heard that in every country I've helped open. I've helped open more than 40 countries, okay? So I'm telling you, when I get bossy, this is why, because I've seen the ways it can go wrong and the ways that make it so much easier for you. Yeah. And yes, every country, there are always people who say, well, that's not going to work here. Yeah. That doesn't work in this country. Well, guess what? For the last several years in China, we've already been proving that it does work. So, but you need to work with the people individually. You don't just say, sorry, it does work. You work with them and help them get to a place. And Christian's really been amazing at that with his team. He really cares about their feelings. Make sure he helps them. But also, I've been kind of really impressed about, he kind of doesn't take no for an answer, but he does it in a very nice way. So it's awesome.
You're giving me face. Thank you.
Yeah. So the fourth thing is just let yourself love the people. We're here to serve. Actually, I am going to add a fifth. This is something I learned from my son, Curtis. He was living in China for a year before we got here. And the whole time, everybody is interested in the business. They want to make money. They're interested in what's going on. Yeah. So I said, if there was anything you could teach me from what you've learned trying to build in China, he said, what would you tell me? I said, what would you tell me? And this is what he said without hesitation. He said, focus on the product. He said, the entire time, I kept trying to work with people on the business because everybody wanted to do the business. And I kept running into stumbling blocks. It wasn't growing like it does in the U.S., and he said, later into my year there, I finally realized, you know what? I'm just going to do the oils. That's what everybody loves. Everybody wants the oils.
Yeah.
And when he started focusing on that, guess what? He found an amazing builder. The team started growing. There's some exciting stuff going on. What have you noticed about that?
Yeah, I mean, whenever we do a training, it's all about the oils, and that's what gets people excited. That's what they like to hear about, like to learn about. The business is kind of an afterthought, and we usually, for our team, we've usually been like, if you're interested in the business, we'll tell them probably like a very, very simple description of the business.
Yeah.
And then
just like if I teach you to teach on how to close a class, we do it like that in the class. Only, of course, the direct sales way.
Yeah, and so then we invite them to come and talk with us if they are interested. If not, we don't push it, and we hope they can get the oils and learn about them and know how to use them. So,
yeah, and what I found is that it works the same. It works the same in China.
Yeah.
So make sure it's about helping people. Make sure it's about the oils. I don't care if your why is that you need to make money. That's okay. That can be your why. But the reason we're doing it this way is because we get to help people. And we have one team that we're working with who, amazing, amazing leader, but seems to be struggling, like the team isn't growing as fast as some of the others. And we were looking at it and realized, oh my goodness, the focus is on the business. Every person who we talk to on that team knows about the business, kind of feels like they need to get involved in the business. But at our class, we started talking about the oils, and all of a sudden the guard was let down and people started having questions, and they're, getting excited about the oils. You know how it is. That's how it is everywhere. So you guys, hopefully this helps you, and I'm excited for what you're trying to do, but realize what you're getting into. And Christian, thank you for being here helping us.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, it's exciting.
So can you give them a send-off in Chinese?
祝贺，祝你们好运. Good luck, and build internationally. It's fun. It's exciting. So.
And what the Chinese say, they say 加油. That means
that's right.
Go get it. You can do it. All right. 加油.